We've got a 2-for-1 here on the Scream Factory Collector's Editions. We've got David Cronenberg's Rabid and David Cronenberg's Dead Ringers. These are Collector's Editions from Scream Factory. I'll start off here with, well, I won't start with that one. I'll start off here with Rabid, which I'm not going to say too much about because I recently reviewed the film for the Viavision, I should say, release of the Cronenberg set over there in Australia. But the movie, like I said, if you've not seen it, it's really cool. A guy, he's riding around with his woman. They get in an accident. She ends up at like a plastic surgery place, and before you know it, she basically has what looks like a penis coming from her body and turning people into zombies. So that's the shorthand version of what happens. Got a more in-depth review there on the other video if you want to go back and check that out. Now, Scream Factory, I like what they did here. We get the new art, which is, of course, goes on to underneath it. We get the disc, and underneath the disc, we get the, if I can pop her out here, the classic art that we've all come to know and love. One thing I will say about this one does have a new scan, a new director-approved 1:6:6 ratio, which for my money does look better. It's more natural, not as faded out as the Viavision one looked. I imagine the Arrow one looked like the Viavision, but this one here definitely pops better. It looks a whole lot better. 2K scan from the negative in the director-approved ratio of 1:6:6. This one also comes with an audio commentary with writer-director David Cronenberg, audio commentary with William Beard, archival interview with David Cronenberg, interview with executive producer Ivan Reitman, interview with co-producer Don Carmody, from stereo to video, a video essay by Callium Vanessa or something along those lines. Author of They Come From Within, a history of Canadian horror cinema, charting Cronenberg's career from its experimental beginnings through the Videodrome, theatrical trailer, radio spots, and more. So, if you didn't get the Viavision one, if you didn't get the Arrow one, this one may be the one you want to go with, because we get the cool art, we get the director approved 1:6:6 ratio 2K scan, and we still get the same movie that we liked before. Personally, I think this one probably wins out because it's got more extras and it's got a better transfer. Now, let's move on to Dead Ringers, a movie I will spend a little bit more time on from David Cronenberg. From 1988, I want to say. Yes, I am right. This is about a pair of twins that basically do everything together. They're in the medical field as gynecologists, pretty much. At least I'm saying, I think I'm saying that right. It's about 3 o'clock in the morning, so if I'm wrong, don't comment below and let me know. But basically, they went across as an actress, and they kind of switch out on her, if you know what I mean. And the more sensitive one kind of ends up becoming more attached to her than the more flamboyant one does. Next thing you know, it doesn't just, settle and stop with kinky sexual things. It moves forward into some addiction, some pretty gnarly dream sequences, some pretty gnarly sex sequences, and just an overall slow burn that has a pretty big kicker at the end. It does get a bit bloody. It does kind of punch you in the gut when it gets to a certain point, but it's a bit of a slow ride to that point. I will say I enjoyed it. I watched it probably 6-7 years ago the first time I watched it, which was like a bad VHS rip or something of it. I do have the VHS of it, but this one here looked great. And you get 2 options here. You get 2 discs. One disc has the director-approved 2K scan at a 1:6:6 ratio like Rabid, and then there is the like 1:8:5 whatever ratio as well, which I will admit the 1:6:6 again looks better than the other one does. Disc 1 here, new audio commentary with William Beard, author of Artists and Monsters, the cinema of David Cronenberg. Audio commentary with actor Jeremy Irons, who plays the twins in this and does a great job. This is a 1:7:8 ratio for the first disc, I will say. Disc 2 has the 1:6:6 one, a new 2K scan of it, director approved by David Cronenberg. New interviews with actress Stephen Lack and Heidi Von Pulaski. Director of photography Peter Schwarzky, and special effects artist Gordon Smith. Vintage interviews, behind-the-scenes featurette, and theatrical trailers. So it's stacked, it's 2 discs. It's got a pretty different take on the collector's art that they normally do at there at Screen Factory. We got the same thing there. Pop her open. We've got the 2-disc, and if you remove this one, you'll be able to see that if you want to swap it out on your copy, you also have the more traditional art that we're used to, that we've seen on the VHS and probably the DVD. I imagine there's a DVD version, but I promise you it don't look like this one. So nonetheless, that is the 2 David Cronenberg Collector's Editions from Screen Factory. Both of them are great, but if you had to go with one, you can't go wrong with Rabid, which I do give the edge over the other one, although both together are very good double features if you want to pick both up. That is from Screen Factory, and they are the Collector's Editions by David Cronenberg. Rabid's still one of my favorites.